It's very frustrating to get a moldy bag of horse feed. You're like, oh man, I gotta take this back. Hopefully your feed store always makes it right with you. But here's 3 ways to identify whose fault it really was. Number 1, we got a moldy bag right here that we had to take back from a customer. If you see chunks of mold just like that are in this bag, big old chunks of mold. Ah, dang it. These chunks of mold are going to be from probably water dripping on the bag. So these are your first 2 things to identify. Water dripping on the bag happened from one of 2 places. That either happened at the feed store's warehouse, probably, or maybe your barn. How about that? If you have a lot of moldy bags that you keep having from the feed store, it could be your fault. We never tell customers that, but it could be your fault. So the first 2 things to identify is if they're chunks, they're probably getting dripped on somewhere, and that's what's happening. The third thing is to look for, and this bag does not have it, but the third thing is if you identify mold throughout all of these pellets, there's little white specks of mold. Make sure it's not propionic acid. If it has kind of a sweet, sour, pungent smell, it could be propionic acid, which is not harmful to horses. It's sprayed on most pellets. But if it is moldy throughout the entire bag and it's on each individual pellet, it definitely happened. Most definitely, probably 90% likely that it happened at the manufacturing facility. They probably didn't get those pellets cooled down enough, dry enough before they put them in the bag. So there's too much moisture in the bag overall. And that was probably the manufacturer's fault. That wasn't the feed store's fault. And it wasn't your fault. Take it back and make the feed store send it back to the manufacturer and say, we need some money for that.